Thanks everyone for being here. Yeah, we're about 10 days into preseason already. Season kicks off a week from today at Memphis, and then Sunday at Arkansas State. Things are going well so far. Girls are working really, really hard. Been a lot of energy and training, so we're just excited to get going here next week.
Tim, can you start by just kind of telling us what last season was like for you? First, familiarizing yourself with your crew, and then kind of adapting to things that you learned as the season went.
Yeah, I learned more in those 3 months than I probably learned in my entire coaching career. So, we did much better, but for comparison's sake, I compared to the year when we started the men's program. We went 1-11. We were obviously much better than that last year, but I learned a lot during those 3 months. So, learned a bunch. Learned about player relationships and motivation, and trying to get the most out of these players, and they all want to do really, really well. So. I think we had a couple of results on the road last year in the conference that didn't go our way. That, one or two bounces here or there, I think we could have been in much better shape. But, I thought it was a good year. I thought we made a lot of progress. We had our best conference finish we'd ever had, most wins we've ever had. So good progress. So.
With that knowledge then, what did you kind of, do in the off season to get your group of returners as ready as you could? And what did you try to do recruiting-wise to try to fill in to get you ready for year two?
Sure. I thought we had a good base. So, everyone we returned, I'm really happy with everyone who returned. Everyone is going to be able to help us that's coming back. So, obviously, we had to get more players in, and 12 freshmen is a lot of freshmen. But it was important that we worked on team building, some unity-type stuff to make sure we had a good foundation for when those girls came in to when we put the two groups together. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. 14 returners and 12 new girls, you can't tell the difference between the group of them. So we've really, really concentrated on that aspect of it. I think if we don't have a good team culture, we're not going to have a good year, regardless of how good and how talented we can be. So we've really, really concentrated on that.
For both of you, what's it like when you're going through a season like you've been going through in your couple of years here, just where every game is a grind and it always seems to go down to the final minutes and things like that? I'm sure there's got to be a lot of growing that goes on as a team, like through those kind of situations.
Yeah, of course. I think actually those games are what's the best for us. We've had a lot of opportunities to go into overtime, last season especially. Those games, just kind of working together, is what makes us who we are. And I think those moments this year is what's going to benefit us. We know how to push. We know how to go into extra minutes and work from there.
Yeah, I think our team is really good at working hard, and that's probably one of our biggest assets. And like Romero said, we had a lot of games last year like that, and we pulled it through and pulled it off. And I think it'll be really important, especially with the freshmen and stuff, to learn that hard-working mentality, which they already have, and just to incorporate it with the older girls so that when we have games like that we'll be able to come out with the win.
Emily, can you kind of talk about what leadership role you're going to be taking up in the midfield this year and how you're going to look to dominate play?
Yeah, of course. I think a big spot that I need to take on this year is we have new faces and stuff like that. So as a senior, kind of just telling them where they need to be. Midfield is a big part of, kind of connects everything. So the players that step in there, making sure they know their roles. On top of that, making sure I get on the ball as often as possible, create things and stuff like that, and kind of lead by example and show other girls how to do that as well.
Tim, what would the expectations for this team realistically be going into the year? What do you expect?
Yeah, I think every day we just want to get better as first and foremost. I think if we do that, then we'll do well in the conference. I think we were just a step away last year. I think if you flip-flop our North Dakota State result, and we're in the conference tournament. So to be one result away last year, I think obviously the goal has to be to take that next step and close that ground there. But I think it's day by day in training, making the ground up and making progress is how we get there.
It's kind of a weird question, but the men having the success that they had, does that, this can be for anybody, but does that kind of give you hey, there's the example, we can do it too? Is that an inspiration or motivation? I don't know how you look at it. Do you look at it?
I would just have to say it's awesome for anyone involved in UNO athletics to see a team succeed like that. And for us, it's awesome watching them play every day. They have some really talented players, so I would say their talent is inspiration and how hard they work. We'd like to mirror that, and I think we do. And we're working from there with our work ethic to try to do the same thing.
Yeah, Taylor, what do you think about the men's success? And that does set an example that, hey, it can be done here at UNO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And we know most of the players pretty well, and they're very focused. And obviously, we're friends with them, so their mentality also socially will rub off on our mentality. And just interacting with them and stuff, seeing them go out and play before practice, it does set a good example. And I mean, obviously we're not like a men's soccer team, but it does show like some of the things they do, we can do as well.
Tim, I know I asked you this last year too. You probably will get this question until it changes, but how do you address the lack of the goals, or I guess to become a more offensive team going forward? Because every game you're not going to win a ton.
We're going to have to continue to get better on set pieces first and foremost, and I think that's number one. I think, again, how we structure ourselves defensively, we won't have an out-and-out goal scorer this year. It's going to have to be by committee, and I think we're a couple of years away from having that player. But I think that's a good thing because, we're going to be dependent on other players to step up, and I think we have a lot of different options. So getting better at set pieces and defensively setting up to put ourselves in a good position, one, to not concede goals. If we're not going to score a bunch, I hope we can, but I mean, realistically, we got to look at that we might not score a bunch of goals this year. So not conceding goals is, I think, hopefully some of the answer to that solution. We got to do a much better job of that this year.
Taylor, can you talk about the pressure on the back end then, if you know that you're not going to be a high-scoring team, how everyone can't make a mistake?
I mean, the biggest part is just being organized defensively, and it's constantly talking, constantly communicating, and we have some new freshman defenders, and the biggest thing is just to make sure that they learn how to keep up communication, keep up organization, and make sure they're always talking and we're always talking to them. And that's where part of leadership comes in, because we need to teach them how to constantly be organizing, and because we see everything in front of us, and we just need to teach everyone to learn how to play the style that we play. And so that's the biggest part that we need to incorporate, is just constantly communicating, organizing, and having good shape defensively all the time.
Tim, what do you want to get out of the preseason schedule here before you start conference? What do you feel like you need to grow to be at your best one?
Yeah, we want to challenge ourselves during the non-conference season, similar to what we did last year. I think we started last year 0-4-1, and then from there on out, after we got those that tough start out of the way, we finished 500 the rest of the way through. So I think getting these games in, we start pretty difficult, being at Memphis, who's a at-large team every other year basically, and Arkansas State had a really good year last year. Then Arkansas, who finished SEC runner-up last year, it's a tough start, and all you're looking for that is getting better every day. You don't go down there expecting to go down there and get a great result. We're going to try, but you're hoping that you can get better and better each and every day, so we're prepared when we come back home and have some of those big conference games. So the conference schedule is really tough on us this year. We go back to Oral Roberts, we go back to North Dakota State, we go back to South Dakota State. We're on the road at the top 4 teams, even though we were on the road at most of them last year. I don't know how that happened to us, but here we are. So we got to take care of business at home, but we have to go play some of these tough road games. The Northern Iowa game we just played was a tough road game. So we have to prepare ourselves in that way so we can go on the road and get some results in the conference.
Emily, do you like those challenges?
It's a tough question, but yeah, I would say as a team, seeing how we can overcome is something that I enjoy. The challenges we face every day, overcoming, working together to get through it is the best part of it. I mean, obviously, you'd like a lot of things to be easy, but what do you learn from that? So,
What'd you learn from you in that game?
We learned that it's tough to go from training on our wonderful field and playing fast every day to go playing in a park on super thick grass. That was the number one thing we learned. That was tough for us, but I was happy with the girls. Had it been a regular season game, we would have played a lot differently. We wouldn't have tried to play. So I really challenged them and put them in a tough spot and told them we're going to go try to move the ball around anyway, and it was really hard. So most importantly, we got to see a lot of fresh faces and see kind of what they can bring the team. Even in Emily's situation, Emily didn't play in the spring. She was out for 7 months injured, and we weren't sure exactly what we were going to get when she came back. So she was like a new face out there, and she was incredible. So we get to kind of see where we're at in those aspects, and we watched a little bit of film yesterday and just really build off that stuff and make some corrections going into next Thursday.
Coach, you mentioned you want to concede as little goals as possible, obviously. With the 2 new goalkeepers additions, one of the best in Kansas, and then a top European aspect that's played for Hoffenheim, Barcelona, as well as Aaron Bunker returning. Can you kind of shed any light on your goalkeeping situation, who you're going to give the nod to at the beginning of the season?
I don't have that answer yet. When I do, I'll let you know. But obviously, Aaron Bunker is returning and did a very good job for us last year, did a very good job for us in the spring. So, it's her spot to lose, but the others have come in and done a really good job challenging her. So Erin's greatest strength is her feet. She has unbelievable feet for a goalkeeper in college soccer, some of the best in the country. So, she's not gifted with the most height, but she makes up for it with her tenacity. So, the style that we want to play, it suits her really, really well to be able to. She's a big part of it. To be able to spread the players out and her to ping balls around is really, really big for us. So.